Adams, a student of Ghana Communications Technology University. And today I would like to walk you through the JavaScript code behind this simple to-do list web app. So here we have our HTML codes, our CSS codes, and here is the JavaScript code. So to begin, in the HTML file, we have the input box. So here is the input box or the input tag, which is responsible for this input box here where you have to type what tags you have to do. We have the button tag, which is responsible for this add button over here, which when you click it adds the tags to the list of things you want to do. Also, we have the span tag for total and then completed. So what this does is it counts the total number of tasks and then the number of tasks completed. And also we have the to-do list. We have the unordered list. We have the unordered list, and that is where the tags will be listed when you click the add tags, and then the tags will be listed. So let me say have a task to eat. So this is the function of the unordered list. So in the JavaScript code, we select these or we target these elements by their IDs by using the documents.getElements by ID. So here are the IDs of all those tags. And this is a constant. Constant means that all the values that have been assigned to these variables are constant and cannot be changed throughout the code. Now we move on to the updating the stats. So I created a function called update stats, and what this function does is it counts how many tags that exist and how many that are completed. So the CSS already styled the to-do item. So all this function does is it counts. It just counts the number of tags that are present or that will be present here. And then we move on to adding a new tax. That is if you want to add a new tax. So when the user types in the input box and presses the add button, so let's see, have a walk by 3 p.m. So when I type this in the input box and then I press the add button, that is when this function runs. That is what this function does. This is what it does. So it allows you to add tags or to create new tags. And it trims the text to avoid empty spaces. So if the input is empty, it stops the process. So if there's nothing in here and then you click add tags, it tells you to please type something first. So that is what it does. Then we come to the tags structure. So in the HTML, the tags are supposed to appear in this unordered list tag. It's supposed to appear here. It's supposed to appear inside this tag. So in the JSS, I created a new list tag element or a new list element, and then I gave it to the CSS class to do item. Give it to the CSS class to do item. Give it to this class here to do item. So it puts them in a list instead of an ordered list. Puts them in a list. Then we move to adding the tax test. Adding the tax test. So I also created a span for the tax test because the CSS styles the class to do text. The to do text. This is what the CSS styles. So the JavaScript here creates a span for the tax text because the CSS has already styled the to do text. So constant span equals document.create elements. So here's the span created, and then it was added to the to do text. So what this matches the CSS styling and lets me add click events later. Then we come to the delete or adding the delete button. So every task needs a delete button. So when you are done with the task, you have to delete it to create more room for more tasks. So this uses a red circular button style from the CSS. So it uses a red circular style from the CSS. And then we move to marking a task as completed. Marking a task as completed. So let me give a task here. So work by 3 p.m. So let me add it. So when I click the text of a task, I want it to toggle between completed and then not completed. So the CSS already has styled the to do item. So which adds the green line and strike through text. So if I click it, you see the green line and then the strike through text. That's the to do item completed. That's this. To do item completed. So the delete. So this function is for the delete button. So it's this. So when I click it, it removes the tags from the list. So when I click it, the tags is gone. Then we come to adding the tags to the page. So we come to adding the tags to the page. So then we come to adding the tags to the page. So this, now I put the text and then the delete button inside the list, then add the list into the HTML list. So if let me work by 3 p.m. add. So the text and then the delete button have been included inside the list. So let me do another one. Eat. So you see the text and then the delete button are inside the list. So if I want to clear, I hit the X and then it deletes. Now we come to the add tags when button is clicked. So that is pressing enter on your keyboard to input the text. So here I add an event listener to the add button to an event listener, and what it does is it listens to when I click enter on my keyboard. This event listener listens to when I click this add tags. This event listener listens when I click the add tags on the screen, and this one listens when I click the enter. So this one listens when I hit the enter on the keyboard. So let me try eat food, and you see when I hit enter on my keyboard, it appeared here. I didn't come here to click add tags. I hit the enter button on my keyboard and it was added. And that's the full JavaScript explanation of my to-do list web app.